evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of MC Squared, the Monday Coffee Conversation. Well, I've got mine with me right here. I hope you've got yours. Let's get into it. I say good evening, and it is the evening while you're watching this. If you watched it when it first showed up, technically it's 1:05 p.m. when I'm recording it. Because 6:30 this evening, right now, I'll be at a ball game. So I'm pre-recording and going to upload it to where it'll come on at 6:30. Right in between local news and Wheel of Fortune. Perfect time to sit back and just have a little talk about God. It's a cool day. Some may say cold. I don't think it's awful. It's 36 outside, 40, somewhere around in there. Got a hot coffee, got a nice little crackling fire beside of us. Ain't technology wonderful? That's a good way to nap, even if it don't put off heat. But anywho, want to have a little talk with you today about a verse or a chapter in the Bible, if you want to look at it that way we all know and love, and we all know by heart, or at least we used to know by heart. When I was 10 years old, I was just on the phone with Dad a few minutes ago. I could recite this whole chapter because if I learned it, I got like a little star on my grid thing up on the wall at Sunday school. I don't know that I could do that today, but got my Bible, so I don't have to do it. But one verse is all we're going to speak of out of that, and it is Psalms 23. That's the big chapter we're talking about, and it's verse 5. And it says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil, and my cup overflows." I want to focus on that first part of that verse. We could get 19 different things out of this one verse, even out of just that half. But I want to hit it a different way today. It says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies." Now, we all got enemies. The Bible tells us that it's not flesh and blood, that it's the things from the devil, the principalities, and the things coming against us. And I suppose he'll do that to everyone, but especially as Christians, he'll use things and use others to come against us to try to get us to just quit. Throw the old hands up. I'm done with God. This was supposed to be a perfect life. This was supposed to be easy when I accepted Christ. Well, first off, nobody said that. Actually, everybody said the opposite. But he did promise that he would be there with us through whatever it may be. Now, it says, "Preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies." What does that mean? Well, one thing we're going to look at it the way that it means is he gives us continued blessings in spite of those that come against us. He gives us continued blessings not only in spite of them, but in the presence of mine enemies. He gives us continued blessings, and it might be this evening, it might be tomorrow, it might be 10 years from now. But with our faithfulness to God, those that come against us are going to see those blessings come to fruition. That's just the way it is. That's what he tells us. "I prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies." That's what God's saying to us, not the way David said it, but that's what God's saying to us. Now, one thing we want to look at on that is the first part. It says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." It does not say, "I'm going to cook up a big old feast." It says, "You prepare the table." As in, we are invited to God's table, to God's blessings, as a guest. Think of it as if you were invited to someone's home for supper, cookout, whatever. As they say on those fancy TV shows, a dinner party. I ain't never been to no dinner party. I've went and eaten dinner, but never been to a dinner party. But when you go to those places, you don't just go meandering around their house. You don't go knock them out of the way, start doing things at the stove or the grill or whatever. Now, I know this is a different time from when I was being raised, but I was raised, you didn't do things like that. You don't go just open somebody else's refrigerator in their house and start pilfering. Or going through their cabinets looking for a can of Viennes, which if you're at a dinner party, probably won't be no Viennes. But it's not what you do. They're preparing the meal for you. They're preparing the dinner for you as a guest, and they are there to, hey, you want something to drink? Would you like a cup of coffee? Dinner's ready. Come on in and get you a seat. We're getting ready to get the food on the table. But it's not something that we just go up and take control of on our own. Because one thing is rude, and another, just not the way we do things. And relating that to what God is saying to us in this verse, what David is saying to us, you prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You may have that opportunity to be in the presence of your enemies and to find some way that you could be showing off to them in a way. But it don't say you do it. It says that God's preparing the table. So when we go pilfering through God's refrigerator looking for, you know what, I know what you're fixing's good. It's probably all right. But I want this here. Once again, and this theme keeps coming up in my study, that's saying that we're smarter than God. Because, just take this as a metaphor, we're eating in the presence of our enemies, and God's preparing this wonderful thing for us to consume, and we say, no, like I said, that's probably good, but I want to eat this in front of them. I want to show them what this is. And that's not what God intended. He's preparing the meal. He's preparing the blessings. So when we go try to take things in our own hands, when things come against us, when people come against us, it's not the recipe for success. See how I worked recipe in there when we talked about eating? Pretty good, wasn't it? We got to allow him to do it. Because number one, he's smarter than us. Number two, he knows what will be the most effective. And number three, he's smarter than us. Let's say that one twice. But when we go, you bothered me, you did this to me, so I'm going to just blow you up on Facebook. Everybody's going to know. I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to tell everybody all about you, and I'm going to dog you. That will be your blessing. That will be your table that God has prepared. Because he didn't prepare it, you did. You set the table. You set the table with some dollar store styrofoam paper plates, and God's wanting to bring out the fine china. Which one do you want? You set the table with a bologna sandwich, and I like a bologna sandwich, but God's wanting to bring out the ribeye. God's wanting to bring out the baked tater. God's wanting to bring all the goodies out. And when we take things into our own hands in a payback way or in a I'll show you way, that's what we're doing. We're taking less than what God intends. And we need to be patient and wait for God to do what he says. And I'm here to tell you that is not easy. If you go to somebody's house and they say dinner's going to be in an hour and 45 minutes and you're hungry, you may just grab a bologna sandwich because you want it now. You want that satisfaction now. But a good meal sometimes takes time. A good, more nutritious, more flavorful meal takes time. And sometimes God makes us wait before this table is prepared. God makes us wait before he shows those who have come against us or our enemies the blessings that come from him. God makes us be patient so once again we can depend on him. So don't just go grabbing stuff out of God's fridge and saying, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Let me share another verse with you here. It's flipping way back to Deuteronomy chapter 32. That's verse 35, and it says, vengeance belongs to me, I will repay, In time, their foot will slip, for their day of disaster is near, and their doom is coming quickly. Go on down to the next one. The Lord will indeed vindicate his people and have compassion on his servants when he sees that their strength is gone. We may think we know a good way to get back at people. We may think we know a good way to, ha, I told you so. And though that's not God's intent is to raise us up. But he will do it to where those that tried to hold you down can see it. God will take that daggone bologna sandwich. Again, I love a good bologna sandwich. But the one that you're just trying to grab real quick because you don't have the patience, you're going to get it quick. He'll turn that into a whole lot bigger, juicier steak. Because if I was hungry and I didn't like you, it might be bad to watch you eat a bologna sandwich in front of me. But if I watch you cut that medium, fresh off a grill, ribeye with them sear marks on it, that'd be a whole lot worse. Y'all take care. Y'all be patient. Don't grab that bologna sandwich. I promise you, it's almost supper time. God's got the meal going and it's almost supper time. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. Y'all have a blessed week. We'll see you next time on MC Squared, the Monday Coffee Conversation.